is Joy News today. I am MFA Akosia Adati. The bulletin is live from our studios here in Kokomlimle and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Coming up this afternoon, President Mahama names another set of ministers with Member of Parliament for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, heading to the Ministry of Education. Also, Joy News can confirm that Mahama Ayariga, Member of Parliament for Boku Central, will be the next majority leader in Ghana's Parliament. More on this later in the bulletin. And also, Cocoa Board intercept more than 1,400 bags of cocoa in the Bono region, suspected to be heading out of the country. Well, welcome to the news today, and please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us this afternoon. President Mahama has named another set of ministers with Member of Parliament for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, heading to the Ministry of Education. The list is also on your screen now, and we shall be reading it out to you. It says that the Western North will have Welbert Petty Brentum as Regional Minister, and also for Central Region we have Idioma Eko Penyin Ochre, and for the Western Region we have Joseph Nelson. Now, moving to the Ministers of State, first will be Ministry of Roads and Highways, and then he prefers to be working with Kwame Governs Agboja. He is a Member of Parliament. And also Ministry of Food and Agriculture, he hopes to work with Eric Opoku. And for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Nad Momo Latte as well. And Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Ablah Jifa Gomashi, who wouldn't be new to this sector. Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Emilia Arthur as well. And Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment to be George Opare Ado. And also Ministry of Education, which we've been telling you, Haruna Idrisu. And Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim. And Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ufosu Ajari. And they have really, that list just came in, and we shall be looking forward to their vetting. Well, also, there have been mixed reactions to the proposal by the Institute for Democratic Governance, asking governments to allow partisan election of metropolitan, municipal and chief executives. IDEC says its post-election survey shows 75% of respondents were not happy with how their local representatives are addressed by developmental challenges. Executive Director of IDEC, Dr. Emmanuel Akweta, spoke at the University of Ghana's annual New Year School Conference.
I think we've seen election of MMDCs without parties, of MMDAs, not MMDCs. Now there have been talk about election of MMDCs, but at the same time, there are also those saying that, look, our parties, if you look at the voting patterns and percentages, we mobilize very highly with parties, not with independent candidates or without parties in MMDAs, okay? So why don't we now look at a situation where we should elect both parties and independent candidates at both levels so that we can develop institutions that would now ensure that the civil service, the local government service are very strong in dealing with what they have as professionals and competencies. And then the parties would also be held accountable. Party people who would get to be mayors or who would get to be presiding members and so on. And they working with the civil service, which is, or the local government service, which belongs to the state. And they're dealing with people who they cannot sack. They cannot move out. So a whole lot of reforms will take place to strengthen these actors who could then deliver public services in a way that various communities will meet their targets, could also begin to see local economic development.
Well, let's explore this further. Dr. Kwame Asante, who is a political scientist at the University of Ghana, has also joined us. And thank you for joining us, Doc. Well, I know that this has been quite a concern, but now it's been backed by a survey. IDEC says that 75% of respondents, when they conducted the survey, are not quite happy. And the reason is simple, that these people do not ensure continuity of projects, and also there's no security of their positions. What do you make of this call by IDEC?
I think it's a good call, and it's not new because you recall, I think somewhere during Nana Akufo-Addo's era, he gave opportunity to Ghanaians for a referendum to be conducted on this. But we as a society blew it away. And that referendum did not come on. So I am happy that IDEC has rekindled the conversation and now gone to the field to pick data to back that exist already. We want to urge everybody to come on board so that we can have meaningful discussion over the issue. And then if opportunity comes for us to vote in a referendum, we support the call.
Well, Doug,
my position is due to the fact that if you look at the national level, we elect people through competitive elections, and we elect people through competitive election by way of independent candidates. So why do we have a different system at the local level where politics emanates, all right, or it is placed at the doorstep of the ordinary man? We want to have the same system in place. The one at the grassroots should bear resemblance with the one at the national level, so that we will not have some problems here and there. It is interesting. Imagine you have an election and then your district, the district chief executive there is not a member of government, and you have, say, an independent person manning the affairs of that place.
Yes.
How interesting it will be. It will shape the way we do elections at the grassroots, and also give people the right to participate in the government of their own society. They will elect their own leaders. They will not wait for a government to appoint an officer there. They will elect and throw away a non-performing leader. And that is the spirit behind a through and through electoral democracy.
Well, Doug, beyond the spirit and true behind democracy, I'm really wondering how then will decentralization, which is the conversation that most of you and a lot of local governance experts have been asking for, how can a government that has been voted for and then a local DC or municipality executives also voted do not belong to a particular party, how then can they really decentralize governance?
It doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect. Are you saying that when we have competitive election, we shouldn't have local authorities also performing their role? That is not the case. That it doesn't matter. We all, fighting for the common interest of the people. So what we do at the top, we do the same at the top. Let us remember that the decentralization rob off every aspect of the local area, including even the top. So why are we worried about decentralization and all that? It's going to add another layer to our governance structure, and it gives us what? A better perspective of event, and it will improve the lives of our people. And this time around, the people will be vigilant and make sure that whoever will go and occupy that office will not be the president's choice, but we, the people, our choice, representing us at the grassroots.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kwame Asante, for talking to us on the back of the call by persons who think that why not, let's vote for our chief executives who will be heading the local governance side. But moving on, the governing National Democratic Congress, NDC, in the Ashanti region says it will seek justice over the recollection of results in 3 parliamentary constituencies which declared seat for the opposition New Patriotic Party. Now, the seats in questions are Ahafo Southwest, Obuasi East, and Ahafo North constituencies. According to the NDC, the recollation of results in these constituencies were marked by irregularities and did not reflect the true will of the people. Nana Boachi joins us with more. Nana?
Well, MFR, just as you said, the NDC yesterday were in the Kumasi High Court to file an ex-party application. On the 6th of January, we will all recall the party had petitioned the Kumasi High Court seeking or claiming that the recollated constituencies declaring the NTP parliamentary candidates as winners are unlawful and they were marred by some irregularities. And so on the 6th of January, that was done. Today, yesterday, I must say, the High Court had called in for the NDC's councils to lay out the ex-party application, which was done. We engaged them and they say that they have continuous efforts to make sure that the EC brings to book or comes back to recollate the results again to declare their parliamentary candidates as winners for the Obuasi East, Ahafo Southwest, and then Ahafo North constituencies. They claim that for the collated results that they have and the pink sheets that they have at hand, their parliamentary candidates won these constituencies, and so they are not going to accept the results as declared by the EC after recollation, and that is why they are headed to court.
Well, I remember that when we spoke to Dr. Makohene, who is headed to be the regional minister for the Ashanti region, he said that he was going to see through that this gets to a very purposeful end. But let me understand, has he said anything about this?
Well, luckily this morning we had Dr. Frank Makohene in the studios of Love FM and Isha FM, when we asked him what is the next step from filing the ex-party application. He says that it is the will of the party to continuously fight for this, and they want justice to be served. They do not want any irregularities to continue. For them, they are supporters at the base of the Ahafo North, East, Southeast, or Southwest, and Obuasi East, among other constituencies that they are fighting for, want to see justice, and so that is what they are going to do as a party, to pursue that justice is being served and that the results are brought back so that their parliamentary candidates, who they believe had won the constituencies, will be declared winners at the end of the day.
Did he by chance touch on the former regional minister, that he was going to prosecute a few things that he had done?
Well, that was done when he had visited the Regional Coordinating Council, where he says that the presidential villa had been left to rot. It was deteriorating. It was not in a good state. For him, he does not know why the regional minister who is supposed to take good care of that place would not do so and leave it to rot. And so the first task that he is going to commit himself to will be to call in the former regional minister, that's Simon Osemensa, to answer questions as to why he had to neglect the presidential villa. That place is also supposed to serve as a place for the regional minister to live in. He wants to understand why the regional minister did not live there, and whether or not payments were made to the regional minister to purchase another house, which would then mean that there was financial loss caused to the state, which would all which he would have answers to make on all of that.
Well, thank you so much, Ananda Boachi-Adom. Now, moving on, Joy News can confirm that Mahama Ayariga, Member of Parliament for Boko Central, will be the next majority leader in Ghana's 9th Parliament. Sources close to the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC, have told Joy News that the party is changing its leadership in Parliament following President Mahama nominating the current majority leader, Dr. Kaziel Ato-Forson, as Finance Minister. Let's speak to Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Draman, on this for more details. Well, Doc, thank you for joining us. You have followed a lot of things that happened in Parliament. What do you make of this option as a majority leader?
Thank you very much for having me. I think it's a very excellent choice. We have a situation now where the NDC has a supermajority. And as much as possible, we want to reduce all the challenges, the pathologies that come with supermajorities in Parliament. And to do that, I think you need very cool heads. You need people who are very analytical, people who are not, overly partisan to lead the charge. And I think Honorable Mahama Ayariga over the years has proved that he's very analytical, he's a very thoughtful person. And I think even when his party is wrong, I think he accepts that and he points that out. So I believe that choice is a very excellent one, and we look forward to his leadership. We look forward to, a situation where he leads a group to give space to the minority to play their role so that we can have an effective democracy in our country. And I think he is somebody who we can trust to do that.
Well, saying that, I don't know if you followed the minority leaders so far, especially at the expiration of the 8th Parliament and the beginning of the 9th Parliament, and even through the vetting so far. Him and also the majority leader that has been named so far. What can you say about the two, as two leaders in Parliament?
Well, I want to say they all have their styles, and I don't want to make any comparison at the risk of incurring anybody's displeasure. But I mean, suffice it to say that we are analyzing Mahama Ayariga, and I think he's very calm. We haven't seen him in any dramatic kind of even when he has to make his point on the floor of Parliament over the years. You see him with a very calm demeanor, and I think that is his style. And perhaps that is quite different from that of the minority leader and the former majority leader. And again, I think he has legal kind of background,
yes.
But most importantly, I think he has played a role as a member of the executive, under previous NDC governments. So I think he has seen both sides think, of the governance kind of structure we have, as compared to, for instance, the current honorable minority leader. So they all come with their different styles, and I believe, what you want to say is some of what we see in terms of the approach of the current minority leader. Yes. Maybe he thinks that approach is what gets him results.
Okay.
And Mahama Ayariga might not be, the same, and his approach and style is different.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Rashid Rahman, for talking to us. And if you want to know a little bit more about the majority leader that the president so hopes, or the NDC so hopes to be leading the 9th Parliament at the majority side, you can go on our social media platforms and read a lot more about him. But away from the House of Parliament, let's go to the Western region next, where the Fisheries Commission says it is investigating circumstances surrounding a mysterious disease that's killing fishes in Kambungli, a Muslim community in the Elembele district of the Western region. Fishermen are paralyzed by fear and uncertainty and are losing money as well. We'll hear from the Fisheries Commission shortly, but first, let's recap in Natalia Kwanzaa's report.
Disturbing trend has emerged in Kambunli's fishing community, where fishermen have reported alarming changes in their recent river catches. Over the past few months, fish have developed severe skin infections characterized by red, swollen lesions that quickly escalate into gaping wounds, rendering them unsellable and unfit for consumption. This crisis has inflicted significant economic hardship on the fishing community, prompting urgent calls for investigation and action. To gather first-hand information and corroborate the fishermen's earlier complaint, the news team embarked on a fishing expedition with the Kambunli fishermen on the Ebi River. Unlike sea fishing, where nets are cast into the ocean, these river fishermen employ a unique method, setting wire mesh traps at strategic points to catch a variety of fish species. Dauda Amadu Nda and Ayuba are fishermen.
I'm from one month in here. You come and I bet you know who said, and I'm no why you crew, simple yama in a jay, bumping from an anti jay. ehwe de befo be ye afa hwama no to bansa no ma ahoche bebre aba wo committee mu na ye adwuma wo mu no ahoche kan pa
26 ya wa mantini yenye skanto bibia nhwe ni mamu gema ahoche kan pa.
Concerned about the potential health implications of these findings, we consulted with Dr. Augustine Amwakon, the Elembela District Health Director, to gain a deeper understanding of the situation and its possible consequences for the community.
Yes, there's likely to be health implication. We cannot be emphatic now because we don't know the exact cause. So when the team come and they take sample of the fish, sample of the water, and we test, then we'll know what is actually causing it, be it a chemical or whatever is causing it. So for now, we can predict that there will be health consequences. Just that we can't tell exactly what because we don't know which chemical in the water is causing that.
Well, we've been joined by Fred Enchibuedu, who heads the Ghana's Fishery Commission. Thank you for joining us. We'd like to find out at what point exactly did this information get to you, and then what have you been finding so far, the investigation that you've said you're conducting?
Okay, so thank you very much for having me online. So we got the information on Sunday, 12 January 2025. And on the 14th, that is Tuesday, we sent out a team of experts from the Fisheries Commission to the area, that is the Fish Health Unit. So the team have visited so far the River Fee to collect samples, and then they've also taken samples from Rivers Ibi and then Amanzulu. So the purpose of taking this sample is to conduct a comprehensive analysis, including water quality assessment, toxicological studies, and identification of the potential contaminants that may compromise food safety. So what we did, we are doing that with the Ghana Standard Authority and Water Research Institute. So we have picked the samples and they are being tested, and we are very sure very soon we'll put all these samples from the 3 government institutions together, and we will give feedback to the public.
Has this happened before? Have you seen this before?
No, this is the first time we are heard of, especially this one. And the community for now has asked that they close fishing temporary. And they are saying that because this is, they are not familiar with this kind of fish. And that they want us to determine whether it is safe or not before they can go back to fishing. That is why they have asked all their members to hold on temporary. And I think that is in the right direction.
Well, for such a novel case, how long do you estimate that we may get some findings?
Well, I can't give the exact time, but I don't think it should last for more than a week. What will happen is that the Fisheries Commission is working on this. Ghana Standard Authority is doing, Water Research also doing. When the 3 is done, we'll put the 3 together. Then we'll now have the final report sent to the public. So currently, as we speak, the team is at the veterinary service now, working on doing the analysis.
This may not be part of your mandate, but just maybe I'm quite curious. Do we know whether or not fishes were already sold for consumption already? And have doctors also mentioned, well, we don't know what is happening, but do we know whether persons are at risk for consumption already?
Not yet. We've had some discussion with the opinion leaders and then the leaders of the industry, and so far nothing of that sort has happened. And like I said earlier, it's the first time they are seeing this kind of fish, and it's strange to them. So it has not been sold out. That is the information we have currently.
Right. Thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on this investigation, and we shall come to you as and when. Thank you for talking to us. Well, moving away, Ghana Cocoa Board's anti-smuggling task force has intercepted more than 1,400 bags of cocoa in the Bono region, suspected to be heading out of the country. Speaking in Sunyani after unpacking the uncertified cocoa, Regional Administrator of the Cocoa Board, Michael Esumenu, called for stiffer punishment to serve as a deterrent to others. Precious Semevo has more.
Upon a tip-off, the Cocoa Board Anti-Smuggling Task Force intercepted 3 articulated trucks in Nkrankwanta and Doma in the Bono region on Saturday, January 11, 2025. The trucks were loaded with a combined total of 1,473 maxi bags of cocoa, estimated to be over 2,000 standard bags of cocoa. The perpetrators concealed the cocoa in the trucks with lumber suspected of heading to Togo or Burkina Faso. According to the Regional Administrator of Cocoa Board, Michael P.K. Asumanu, 2 of the truck drivers absconded at Doma Hinkro, but the team managed to move the trucks to the police headquarters in Sunyani, where an investigation is ongoing.
If you look at how the packaging is done, it's very difficult for you to just do a random stop on the way to say that you are inspecting the truck. So based on the information, we moved to the field. Then we had to lay surveillance on them for about 3 days, until we finally intercepted the first truck in Doma, and then we brought the truck to Sunyani, went back for the 2 trucks from Nkrankwanta. So we brought them to Sunyani, and it's just been the paperwork, going to court to make sure that we're able to take possession of the cocoa beans. So currently we have about 1,473 maxi bags of cocoa. And if you want to repackage them into the normal 64 kilos, we should be having more than 2,000 bags of cocoa. And one person, I don't know whether it's one person, I don't know whether there are 2 or 3, I don't know whether it's a cartel, whatever it is, are trying to smuggle this quantum of cocoa out of this country. And that is a lot of money and a lot of loss to the states.
He described the unidentified perpetrators as nation wreckers, considering the impact of cocoa on the economy.
The smuggling is so bad, to the extent that some people even, use even the sea to smuggle cocoa to Togo and Benin and all of those places. It's very bad. Look, cocoa is the backbone of Ghana's economy, and anybody who tries to smuggle cocoa out of this country, I think that the person is not being fair to this country, and the person is a nation wrecker, I'll put it that way. We all know that when we have cocoa, it even helps in stabilizing our city. And so if one person out of selfishness will try to smuggle cocoa out of the country for his own selfish, desire and then for his good, I think that the person doesn't fit to be a Ghanaian.
He called for stiffer punishment to serve as a deterrent to others.
Somehow we are all benefiting from cocoa. Cocoa is the backbone of Ghana's economy.
Well, Precious Semevo joins us with more. Well, Precious, so please confirm again, because that is a lot of cocoa. Confirm again how many persons have been arrested.
Well, so as of now, only one person, that is one of the 3 drivers who is still with the police to assist in investigation. As indicated in the report, 2 of the drivers absconded, and as of now, nobody has owned up to say the consignment belongs to me or the truck belongs to me. So the police continues with the investigation. Now, my checks this morning indicate that the cocoa, as retrieved by Cocoa Board in Sunyani, has been moved to Kumasi for safekeeping. That is where the depot is. It has been moved. But the 3 trucks are currently at the police regional headquarters in Sunyani, and the lumber auto seized has been taken over by the Forestry Commission in the Bono region, also here in Sunyani. So the police continues with the investigation, and they await who will own up to say that the trucks, the consignment belongs to me.
If I understand, of course, you're not a lawyer, you're not a police officer, but if I understand, this person that they have arrested is not cooperating, you're not giving information at all?
Yeah, it's been pretty difficult getting information from the person. The driver, the only person who currently is with the police, claimed that they didn't even know the content of the goods they were taken away. Of course, that cannot be true. So they are not giving information enough to the police to indicate or to assist the investigation of the police to get to the bottom of those behind this massive smuggling of cocoa. And it will interest you to know the sophisticated nature of packaging the cocoa in the middle of the truck covered by the lumber. To avoid the stench of cocoa, they smear camphor in the truck, a lot of camphor, to ensure that when it is passing, the casual inspection will not leak any information of cocoa being concealed in the truck. So it took the vigilance and a tip of days of monitoring them day and night at Nkran Kwanta to track these perpetrators, as the admin said, describe them as nation records.
Well, before I let you go, Precious, so you have been telling us that the cocoa has been transported to Kumasi for safekeeping. What does that mean? Where in Kumasi and under whose safekeeping?
Yeah, Cocoa Board. That is where they have one of their certified warehouses in Kumasi. So after offloading it, it has been moved to Kumasi, of course, under escort to ensure that none of the bags goes anywhere.
Oh, thank you so much, Precious Omeba, for that report. Now, moving away from Bono, let's bring you this rather surprising story. Well, before that, let me go to the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools. Charles says some senior high schools are yet to receive food supplies. This is despite a directive from President John Mahama asking the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, to facilitate the immediate distribution of food supplies stored in warehouses in Tema to senior high schools nationwide. This move was to alleviate the ongoing food shortages affecting schools across the country. Primus Barrows speaks for the Conference of Heads of Assisted Schools, CHAS. He spoke earlier on desk.
We indeed had an engagement with the government side that was led by the Chief of Staff himself and other high-profile government representatives. As at that meeting, and that was on Tuesday, at the end of it, there was subsequently another meeting by the government side, and a few minutes after that, and this I'm talking about a span of 2 hours, they gathered our representatives again. And that meeting, the second meeting was represented, Charles was represented by the president and the treasurer. Now, beyond that meeting, some agreements were made, and those were the agreements that were forwarded to the president, and those agreements bordered on the time, the kind of food that should be sent to schools. Yes, the 48 hours, to answer your question straight away, for us as this morning, I've not received any official report from any region regarding the reception, receipt of these food items. But at that meeting, with the agreement, or not the agreement, the anticipation was that, like Honorable Apatu, was that by close of day today, hopefully, we shall receive these food items. I've not had any official report from any region whether these food items have arrived or not.
This story is a major concern for parents, and we're keeping an eye on that to bring you every detail that unfolds. But in a surprising turn of events, presidential candidate of the Convention People's Party, Nana Akosua-Frimpong Kumankuma, has claimed that she is the founder of the 31st December movement, a group widely associated with former Jerry John Rawlings and his wife, spearheaded by Nana Konedu Agyeman Rawlings. The movement, established after the 1981 coup, focused on grassroots development, women's empowerment, and fostering national self-resilience. Over the years, it became a key force in addressing socio-economic inequalities in Ghana. Kumankuma's session made during a yet-to-be-aired episode of Personality Profile with me, Emefa Akosua-Adeti, challenges the long-held narratives surrounding its origins and introduces a new perspective in its history.
Once I was home, I asked one of the people, I want to form a group to see how we support women, so that if women get molested or harassed or something, they can go to that group.
At least for support.
And we can support them. Because I'm sitting home, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't travel again. They called us Kalabude, and if they really wanted Kalabude people, I was a queen. You understand? Like I've told you, me, I'll travel and come the same. So Kalabude is a woman who was doing business at that time. That was their definition. Once you are going to buy something from here and you are selling it at this price, then you are a Kalabude queen.
Okay.
So me, I was a queen at that time. I would rival, I was traveling and coming down. So I didn't know what to do. So I decided that is how I brought these women together. So the lady, the gentleman, she's called Asampogri. He's also a PhD holder now. So at times told me that, oh, some girls that they know are also thinking of similar things. I said, let them meet me together. So I met them. Live where see do. Yeah, see do. Yawa. And I've forgotten this other person. So the three, and Cynthia Newman. May she rest in peace. So we met. And the story is 31st December Women's Movement. So we formed 31st December Women's Movement. My money, because I've told you I was a businesswoman and I was successful. My money made the first t-shirts for 31st December Women's Movement. I was the organizer for the 31st, the organizer for 31st December Women's Movement. We came up with a name. Today, Nana Rollins Konedu will tell you, she has no clue. That name, 31st December Women's Movement, she can't tell you how it came about.
Well, the full interview is pretty soon on the Joy News channel, and definitely you want to watch out for that. You're watching Joy News today. We'll go for a quick break. Winston Taki brings you business next.
Welcome back to Business on Joy News today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. The Ghana Statistical Service has convened a stakeholder engagement on the review of the 2024 trends of consumer price indices and items driving inflation in Ghana. The objective of the engagement was to foster collaborative dialogue among key stakeholders, including government officials and the media, on consumer price inflation. Here is more in this report. We'll bring you that story in a subsequent bulletin. Now, away from that, the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, is calling for a change of all petroleum margins into tax revenues to free up some 6.3 billion cedis for government. According to policy lead in charge of petroleum and conventional energy at ACEP, Kujo Yaoche, this will free up 6.3 billion cedis in annual revenues to fund critical projects. He spoke at a press conference on Ghana's downstream petroleum sector.
We are asking that those margins be converted to tax handles within the control of government, that those revenues accrue to government to be used for development purposes. Because MPA is already paid to do its work. Implicit in the cost of the product, there is money for it to do its work. So we don't want MPA to be in the business of collecting money for transportation, collecting money for this purpose of the product. No, stick to ensuring there is enough product in the country and there is the quality of the product can be guaranteed. That is what MPA should be. Those are its regulatory functions. All other things are just lending itself to the political settlement to be used to siphon money off the pockets of consumers. I mean, these things, the recommendations are really things that they should be focused on. How do we rationalize the margins, for example, to ensure that they become tax handles? Some of the issues that we have raised, the subsidy program, which has become a cash cow for some political people. How do we put an end to it? So the recommendations really are things that the new minister and the CEO of the MPA should be focused on when it comes to downstream petroleum revenues.
We have more business update for you on the marketplace at 1 p.m. That's all. My name is Winston Taki. Sports and Showbiz is next after this break.
JM Today with me, Haruna Mubarak. Now, the Ghana Football Association has confirmed plans to make changes in the Black Stars technical team ahead of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers in March. The move is aimed at strengthening the department headed by Otuado after Ghana's failure to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. There's more in this report.
To Canero's delivery. Oh, it's only gone as far as Milton.
On November 15, 2024, Ghana's hopes of securing their 11th successive AFCON ticket were shattered. The team needed a win against Angola to keep their slim hopes of qualifying for the 2025 tournament in Morocco alive. However, a 1-1 draw confirmed their absence from the competition for the first time since 2004. Coach Otuado apologized for the disappointment.
I can show you hundreds things, my friends, but nobody apologized afterwards. Not some few, not a lot. This is the first one. But I'm ready to apologize very, very much. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that we didn't do well and we didn't qualify. I'm very sorry. This one, 100%. I really have to apologize because I know how much it means for every Ghanaian to play in this tournament. I know it. Don't get me wrong, please.
Otuado's future is currently uncertain after guiding Ghana through 6 qualifiers without a victory. But what is certain is the FA's consideration of strengthening the technical department.
At the last ESCO meeting, after Otto presented his report to the council, there were loads of considerations, discussions, analysis of the team. They looked at all the departments, they looked at the technical team, the backroom staff, and other service providers. At the end of the day, there was a decision to make some changes.
According to Joy Sports sources, a Belgian and a Serbian are in talks with the FA. The 2 coaches are expected to replace assistant trainers John Pencil and Joseph Lawman. The Black Stars return to action in March against Chad and Madagascar in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers.
And that's it for sports on JM Today. I am Haruna Mubarak. Showbiz is up next.